macadamia farming in Kenya, as has been the norm for the last couple of Tuesdays. Now, I'm sure you've heard us broadly talk about how macadamia falls under the category of nuts and oil crops, and you're probably curious to find out what other crops do we have in this category. Now, it's very important to note that we have 13 scheduled nuts and oil crops, and they are as follows. At number 1, we have macadamia, which of course is our focus every Tuesday. We do have coconut, which is now our focus on Monday. We have simsim as well, cashew nuts, sunflower, canola, ground nuts, oil palm, bambara nuts, jojoba, castor, linseed, and sunflower. Now, these are the 13 nuts and oil crops that we do have grown in Kenya, and if processed, they are able to produce edible oils, therefore reducing the edible oils that we do have to import from other countries. Now, let us look at the process that leads us to the packaging that we did display before we took our first break, and this is in regards to all matters macadamia farming. So we start by planting our macadamia, and of course we are advising our farmers to go the hybrid way. Here we are talking about Kiambu 3, Murang'a 20, Kirinyaga 15, Embu 1, and we have over 7 varieties that are hybrid. The advantage of going the hybrid way, of course, is because they take about 3 to 5 years before you start getting your fruit, and if you compare them to indigenous, they take about 7 to 15 years. Also, the hybrid varieties do have a high oil content of over 60%, and if you compare that to the indigenous varieties, the oil content is below 40%. The nut of the hybrid variety is also bigger, and that is the size that is more marketable in the international market, and also the hybrid variety are more disease resistant. Now, after 3 to 5 years, we have our harvesting. Now, remember, for macadamia, they do fall on the ground, and that particular moment is the right moment for our farmers to start collecting the macadamia. Something very important for you as a farmer that you need to do in order to maintain the good quality of your nut is making sure that you remove the outer green husk immediately or within 24 hours. Do not let the green husk stay there longer than that, because the moisture affects the nut. It does make it mold and also spoils it, therefore reducing the quality that is expected for the international market. After removing your green husk, of course, now we have our nut in shell, where we have the nut itself in the brown hard shell. There we have our aggregators, processors, and exporters who come and buy the shells and the nut in shells from our farmers. So what happens after that? We are taken all the way back to drying. Once our processors and exporters have taken or purchased the nut in shell from our farmers, the very first thing that needs to be done is drying the nut in shell from the original 45% moisture content that they buy them at to about 1.5 moisture content. And this is a process that takes several days to achieve the 1.5 moisture content. Thereafter drying, we move to the next step of cracking. Remember, we do have to remove the outer covering, which is a very hard shell that covers the nut, and we have to use specialized tool to be able to crack the shell without damaging the fruit inside. Now, thereafter cracking it, we move to sorting and grading. We are sorting according to size of the nut. Remember, we said the bigger the size, the better for the international market, and we are also sorting quality-wise. We want to make sure our nut inside, our kernel, is not infected by insects or even other diseases. So this happens using machines, and also we do have different people that work in the sorting area, in the conveyor belt, that now sort according to good quality. And after that is done, we go all the way to packing, and we have to do vacuum packing, and that is the package that we did display, and thereafter it is exported to the international market. Remember, macadamia is very much marketable in the international market. However, countries like China, they do import our macadamia when it's still nut in shell, so they can import it when it's at this stage. However, for the kernel, it has to go all the way to the packing, and it's exported after it has been vacuumed packed. Now, this is the process that it takes for storing and also packing and exporting our macadamia. We do have a target of making sure that we increase our macadamia to 63,000 metric tons by 2027, an increase from what we're producing now, which is 45,000 metric tons. And just in case you was not able to see the packaging that we were talking about, here is the packaging that it's exported to the international market, and that is the entire process.
Na inafurahisha sana kuona baadaye kwamba tunafika hapa, safari ya mbali kweli kweli. Kwa yule mtu ambaye anapenda lugha ya Kiswahili tunasema kwamba mchumia juane hulia kivulini. Bila shaka umesafiri na hatua ambayo umechukua, basi ni mwishowe basi utapata kile ambacho ni hela mfukoni bila shaka.
Nilitumia hiyo methali kwa insha.
Mchumia juane hulia kivulini.
In my high school days. What a good memory. I didn't mean it, though. I was just trying to make my insha look nice. I don't even know what I was saying. We want to take another break, but before we do, Terror, is that time. Are you ready for the farm joke?
Nataka rudia vile unafanya ni kama una dance.
Before we take our next break, it's time for me to tease a farm joke of the day.
Unafanya ikae rahisi kwa yule mtu ambaye anasubiri anapasha misuli moto kusubiri kile ambacho kinatokea baadaye.
So are you ready? Are you sure? Are you going to get it correct?
Twende tujaribu tena. Ili
we are betting that you have to get it correct.
So.
All right, good. And the question that we are asking you today is, what kind of dog never barks? Okay?
Okay.
That's the question that we are asking. What kind of dog never barks? So please feel free to talk to us and send in your answers across all our social media platforms. On Instagram at Kenya's Gold, our SMS line is 22422, and our email is kenyasgold@royalmedia.co.ke. And also, in case you have any question regarding all matters macadamia, please feel free to ask as well. We'll see you after this break.